Hey guys, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about the amazing episode 23 of HUGTTO PRECURE. This episode was very interesting. I think that it was one of my favorites because it was so serious and it's starting to, like, the plot is going forward. There are so many things going on right now in HUGTTO, and everything's kind of scary, and I am loving it. So this episode started with the Kriyasu Corp. The people at Kriyasu Corp were talking, and they were mentioning the fact that Paparu is not there anymore. She's not there anymore, and Daigon, he was always boasting that if it was up to him, the Cures would already be defeated, and they would not be there anymore. And so Janos, I already love you, girl. You're amazing. She just told him, so then, if you say you're as good as you say, just go. Just do it. Come on, we're waiting. And that's what he did. He went to attack the Cures. Um, but the girls were at school. They were having a moment because now people were talking about Precure. There's like a fandom to Precure. They were discussing like who's your favorite. The Precures are so amazing and so on. And that guy, I don't remember his name, but there's a guy in Hannah's class, in the girls' class. Um, I think that he is going to be someone who will be kind of important to Hannah's plot in the future. I don't know how. Maybe like a love interest, maybe a friendship. I don't know, but I think he's going to be important. Someone even asked like, "Who's your favorite cure? Is it Curiel?" And he couldn't answer. He couldn't answer at that moment. But I think that there is going to be something, between him and Hannah. Anyways, there is something that happened in Haruto that already happened in other seasons, and it's kind of like a motive in Precure, and it is uh, the cures in general. The girls, they already kind of know what they want to do in life. They kind of know, they kind of grasp what they want to do, and they go after it. But the main character, she's always struggling to find whatever she wants to do. Of course, there are exceptions. Of course, there are not. There are some seasons that don't really follow this plot, but in Hakuto, it's going on like this. It's not something new, and Hana's wondering. But this is not really something that Hana suffers over. This is not a problem to her. She's still thinking, she's still philosophing inside her head, and she's still going on. She's still thinking and concerning all the possibilities that she has. But it's not something that brings her. Um, it's not something that makes her anxious. It's not something that makes her nervous. It's not something like that. Hannah's always very cheerful, so it matches her personality. To focus on something with an upbeat mind. That's very Hannah. And while she was alone, she met George. She had another one of those mysterious meanings. We cannot really grasp what George is saying, what he really means with those words. And he even said about something about his future, about the future that he wishes, and that he wishes a future with people laughing and having fun. And we all obviously would find that strange. We obviously would find that strange. We all know why. So okay, Daigon appeared and he created a Noshimaida. His movement when he's summoning a Noshimaida, it was so boring and so uncreative that I thought, okay, this is a big reason why they didn't put Daigon to confront the girls, because he would be a very boring villain, and now we're stuck with him. I knew that new villains were going to appear, but I never really imagined it was going to be something like this, because when Daigon was presenting himself, he was attacked by another villain, and when this other villain appeared, he presented himself as Dr. Trauma. I love this name. I love this name, and I love his design. He's like a crazy doctor, and it's really the way he presents himself and the way he attacked Daigon. It was kind of scary. And another interesting thing was that Cure Anje, she was able to get her powers and heal um, Daigon. We haven't seen her do it. We haven't seen her do it at all so far. We haven't seen her healing powers. We only saw her protective powers that are worth nothing. But healing, she also has healing powers, and that's nice. That's very thoughtful. They remembered that she has this nurse-like appearance, and they blended it with her powers, and that's interesting. And so um, this Dr. Trauma appeared, and Daigon was healed, but I don't know what happened to I didn't really understand what happened to him, but he disappeared. I don't know if he came back to Kriyasu Corp. I don't know if he's dead. I didn't really understand that part. I didn't. And the girls were really scared. And Dr. Trauma said something like, "Oh, you're doing it like you're a friend, but friends don't exist when you're over 30." And that makes me a little scared. I'm gonna be honest. I am 31. I have friends. Uh, but it's interesting to see this philosophy because when you get older, you at least in my life and people around me, you tend to get less friends than before. Life starts taking over and you get less friends. But I don't want to be the kind of person with no friends at all or very few friends. I just don't. And I just don't want to follow Dr. Trauma's philosophy. Sorry. I just don't. So Dr. Trauma got the Oshimaida that Daigon summoned, and he powered it up. It became really stronger, and it kicked the girl's ass. I must say this: the Hukto team is really weak when it comes to fights. Girls, step it up. You need to step it up. And then the girls, they were not being able to defeat the monster, and then we finally had a revelation. Our boy, our dear villain of the season appeared, and it was who we were expecting him to be, George. Um, and it was interesting to see Curiel trying to protect him at the start because she didn't know who he was. And Harry, while in his hamster form, just told her, "Girl, just don't. He is the president." And I'm like, "Harry, you're so sketchy. Why do you know all of those things?" And just to confirm this, Dr. Trauma just looked at Harry and said, "Come on." I mean, Harry is stirring up so many secrets, and my theory is that Harry is part of the Kriyasu Corp, was part of the Kriyasu Corp in the future, in a way. I personally think that Harry is the um, the son of the blue guy, Listel. Listel, right? I think he is Listel's son. I don't know, but I think he is, and he might have been connected to Kriyasu Corp in the future. Um, and so I don't know why or how George was simply able to summon all of the Midnight Crystals, like just putting his hand up. And that makes me a little curious. I mean, how is he so powerful to be able to summon all of the crystals like that and gather all of them towards him? And because without the Midnight Crystals, the girls can't even transform. They did transformed. And I mean, if this is what it takes to defeat the Cures, then it's really easy for him to do whatever he wants to do as the president of Kriyasu Corp. I mean, how can the girls combat that? They can't really. And he stopped time. He summoned all of the Midnight Crystals, all of the Midnight Crystals that the girls already have. But he couldn't stop Hugton. Hugton was the only one that still kept alive. And time ticked for Hugton and not for the other people. And I think that's an indication that Hugton is very important. I still think Hugton is the golden woman of the opening. And then he started, he was very curious, and so Hugton, he picked up Hugton and he tried to bring Hugton towards him. That scene was so agonizing to me, having to see Hugton crying and calling all of the girls. It was really hard watching that. It was really hard. But when she called Mama and Hana finally was able to hear that, it was really emotional. And we had a glimpse of Hannah's flashback. I didn't really understand what was really going on there. It seems that there was a girl in her class that was suffering from bullying, and Hannah protected her, and then Hannah became a target. I think it was something like that. But it was interesting that her mother was there to support her, to stay with her, to stand by her side. And that was something very special, to see. That was something very beautiful. And I really liked what her mother told her. And um, I I liked Hannah's look, Hannah's emo look. You know, she didn't have bangs at that time. She was completely different, and it ties up to the start of Hugto, right? You know, Hannah wanting to start fresh, probably because of that, probably because of what happened. And I think that we're still going to learn more about what happened to her in that school. But that was the trigger for her to wake up and save Hugton again. And it was interesting because she went onto George and she was already punching him. He escaped, but she went full on against him. She tried to punch him, and she got Hugton back, and with that, with her Asu power, the girls got back. The time started flowing again. The girls were able to transform again, and George simply went away. He had enough. He flew away, and then the girls started fighting the Oshimaida again. They were able to defeat the Oshimaida. I didn't really understand what happened there, because they had their Midai crystals back and they got powered up. I mean, why weren't they powered up before that? Since they already had all their Midai crystals with them. I didn't really understand that, but they got powered up and they defeated like the matcha part of the monster, and so Amur and Machiri were able to defeat it. I think that we're on to a group attack pretty soon, right? I don't know. Maybe a group attack is going to be like the main thing to defeat those monsters in future episodes. Um, so after that, I think that we saw after that we had like the biggest impact scene on this episode, which is now Kriesu Corp seems to be in full form. Now George is there. Now Doctor Trauma's there. Listel and Jellos are there. They're all together. But Listel even went on and he released another villain. I don't remember the other villain's name, but it seems that it's a girl, and she was all tied up because she seems to be very violent. And wow, I'm kind of scared because all the villains in Hutto so far are they don't really attack. I mean, they summon Oshimadas, but they don't attack themselves. So we might see a change of pace here. And I'm gonna love to see that. And it's interesting because Lulu doesn't seem to know who Dr. Trauma is. She probably haven't seen Dr. Trauma or this other villain while she was at Kriyasu. We don't know that. And so I'm very curious to what we're gonna have in Hokuto from now on. And at the end of the episode, we had a very nice scene with Homare and Harry. I'm really curious to learn more about what Harry's trying to do and what he's tearing up. But, we don't know. And I don't think that we're going to have answers anytime soon. Maybe like in episode 30 or something. I think maybe that's when we're going to have some answers for that. Anyways, in episode 23, we also had new images in the opening featuring the five girls. And we also have this amazing new ending. And I loved it so much. It was so beautiful. The dancing is nice. The song is amazing. Again, all of the voice actors singing the song, I love it. It adds a very special touch, seeing the Cures dancing while they're also singing. I love that. And, this ending feels really special. For me, it's way better than the first one, which I didn't really love. And now I feel like I love a Precure ending again, and I'm so happy. It's just so good to love Precure. Don't you guys agree? It's just so good. Precure is always so good. And Precure makes us so happy, and I'm very happy that we have Precure in our lives. And with that, I finished this. Sorry for this long video. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.